tell which of these children was not born free? Can you tell which of these children was not born equal? Can you tell which of these children does not deserve to be treated with dignity? We can't either. Human right number one. We are all born free and equal. What are human rights? Find out at youthforhumanrights.org.
Hello everyone and welcome to Mom Talk. Today's Peace Learning Leadership Talk is introducing a very dear friend, colleague, and a guest who's been dedicating her life to bringing equity, equanimity, and peace learning into our community, especially empowering our youth and leadership, and especially empowering the families and women and moms and sisters and those who thrive every day to bring more equity, equanimity, peace learning into our communities. Elohe Amani, my dear friend and colleague, is the chair at Global Circles of Women's Intercultural Network. She's also the director of technology at Cal State University, Fullerton. She has worked with Using Arts or organizations such as Using Art and Action for a Better World. She has been the recipient of many awards in the field of peace learning and cultivation of peace and building leadership with youth especially and women. And it's an honor to have her again on Mom Talk to have this very important conversation on youth, democracy, leadership, and peace learning. Mrs. Amani, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here and have a conversation with you again.
Wonderful. So let's start with your involvement with the Peace Table Conference in Europe. And last time we had you on, we connected, you were in Paris, and we connected via Skype then. And this time you're here in California. So tell us about your trip, first of all, and how you found this trip to be meaningful in cultivating peace and peace learning, especially with our youth leadership.
Thank you very much. Yes, I recall that last time we talked, we were in Paris on my way to The Hague. It was a global peace conference, and I work closely with Mediators Beyond Borders. Mm-hmm. And so I was participating on behalf of Mediators Beyond Borders in The Hague conference. It was amazing because when a group of people coming together from conflict zone of the world, both sides of the conflict, and trying to reach out to each other, build bridge, and talk about peace, it's really heartwarming and energizing. So they were a large number, not very large, but maybe about 120 people from various parts of the world, both sides of the conflicts, men and women. And we had dialogue and conversation on many issues that we need as citizens of this world. We need to work on it and build bridges and reach out to each other and collectively build the culture of peace and social justice.
This week that we celebrate Dr. King's birthday and MLK Day of Service and what it means to serve others and communities and empower especially our youth and our women in our community, it's truly an honor to have someone like yourself who's dedicated so much of your life and time in service learning, peace learning, and really empowering those who don't have a voice. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for being such an example to the youth and those who look up to leadership to find hopeful ways to engage and do something positive and peaceful in bringing more justice, equanimity, and peace learning into our societies.
Thank you, thank you. I think it's up to all of us to do our share as global citizens to build peace. And it is heartwarming to be engaged in that process. I was so energized after the Hague conference, and actually we were sitting in the Peace Palace of the Hague while we were having that conversation between Palestinians and Israelis, between Iraqis and Kurds, between different conflicts area, between Congo women, some of them were being raped in the conflict in Congo or other African countries. So it's important, and I think on both sides of the conflicts in today's world, there are people that they want to reach out to each other. So it's up to us to facilitate that. Now we see, like with North and South Korea, it's an opening. It's a small opening to have a dialogue. So these are heartwarming situations, and peace is not only a concept, in my humble opinion, to be global. We can do peace work here at our local community. And I believe, as Gandhi once said, that if we want to have peace in the world, we need to start from children, because we need to raise a generation with the peace culture. That's why here in Los Angeles, in Orange County, at local level, I was engaged in the 90s decade on peer mediator at elementary school. You know, that's also in my understanding, that's also peace work. And once we connect all these network of global peace building from the kindergarten, from elementary schools at our local level, because these are the kids that are going to be future leaders to the global scene. You know, you see the connection, and has such a powerful energy that keeps all of us moving forward.
Absolutely. It's so heartwarming. We watched the story of, or glimpse of the story of Rosa Parks last week on Mom Talk, and it's so heartwarming to see that at such young age, she stands up for what's right, and she believes in having equal rights, and she mentions her grandparents and their teachings and what she learned from them as sort of these planks, these stepping stones towards finding her voice and confidence in fighting for social justice and what's right. And so absolutely, peace learning parenting, in my opinion, is one of the most amazing things we can do for our children, is making them aware of their human rights, educating them about human rights. I have gone through all 30 different elements and the 30 declarations of human rights with our children and in our community with the families that I work with. I think it's so fundamental for them to understand it at their level and ages and stages of development, what it means to cultivate, internalize, and to pass those values on to the next generation.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's very important. And I also, as a community member of Iranian American, I always very thankful of the work that you're doing in our community.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So you have worked with the UN, or you've been a very dedicated, frequent sort of visitor of UN and the UN gatherings every year, especially regarding getting to 50-50 and women's rights and equality with women in leadership. Can you share some of your experiences along that path and journey in bringing more social justice and equality as it relates to our human rights? Because now, you know, more than ever, I think women are aware and families are conscious of knowing that children's rights and women's rights are human rights.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think UN, I've been attending all UN Commission on the Status of Women since 1995, the famous Beijing Women Conference, the 5th International Women Conference, and every year I've been attending consistently in New York at the Commission on the Status of Women. The reality is that we are living in a world that intersectionality of all the issues has created such a simple and yet complex environment for the work that we do. We know that women are half of the global citizen, and their participation and utilizing their potential for the development, for peace, and is amazing. And it's too unfortunate that some of the countries they're not building on that tremendous resource for economic development and for peace building, particularly in the area of women's social justice, peace building. I'm interested and have done some work specifically on the role of women in peace building. Mm-hmm. It seems like in the conflict zone, women seems to be more energized to overcome the religious barriers, to overcome ethnic barriers, to overcome other barriers that creating those conflicts, and sit at the table and resolve this issue. You know, I have written pieces in English and Farsi about that, and I think that's something that it's coming from margin to the center of agenda. We know that women, this is the UN Security Council Resolution 1325. More than 20 years ago, this resolution was passed, but we haven't seen much progress in having women at the peace tables, at the negotiation table. In the case of conflicts in Afghanistan, in Congo, in Iraq, in other parts of the Middle East, we haven't seen women being well represented at the peace table, and that's a challenge. There are a whole host of research done during the last 2 decades that when women are sitting at the table of peace, peace seems to be more sustainable. So there is a whole social science behind all these things, and all these concepts that we try to educate our community about it. Even the negotiation between Iran and the West on nuclear facilities of Iran, we saw 4 powerful women on one side and no woman on the side of Iran. So that's the reality that we are facing. But I'm extremely hopeful. I'm very hopeful that the future belongs to more representation of women at the peace table. And then peace and security. I just want to emphasize, peace and security means different to men and women. Mm-hmm. The concept of security for women is a much broader concept. It means that when women in a conflict zone have to walk a couple miles to bring water for cooking or for cleaning their families, security means something different to them than a man walking that 2 miles with that's with arm, or it can protect himself. So these are the new concepts that now being unpacked at different UN session, and I'm very hopeful that we will see progress in this regard in future.
Wonderful. And I know this year the focus will be on women in media and those who have sort of raised awareness in conscious media and the work that they've done in media. So I'm really excited. I am hoping to be there and hoping to join you this year. And it is truly a very hopeful time. I believe this is sort of the first time that I'm extremely hopeful in turning that, coming around that circle or turn and seeing a better future for our girls and women in leadership in general.
Absolutely, absolutely. This year, the Commission on the Status of Women, which is going to be in March, every year it's in March, which is Women History Month in US. This year, the main theme is, agrarian, women in agriculture, women who are producing our foods. As you know, in many continents, including Africa, women are the main producer of the agriculture. And I am very, very proud and excited to share with you that as a Women Intercultural Network, which I'm the chair of their global circle, we spent 4 days with women, farm workers, women in California, in the poor neighborhoods around Fresno area. We sat with them. We learned what are their challenges. We learned that how they are vulnerable to sexual assaults when they are working in the fields, how their families, I actually met families and their children that they are unhealthy, or they're actually, a young woman was dying because of the pesticides that should not be used in the farms, and now unfortunately, the current administration allowed them to use that. So these families are challenged with the serious health issues. There are whole research on that on net. If your listener want to know more about it. So we're gonna take a group of farm worker women from California to UN. To UN, these women even cannot speak English, but we're going to take them to UN so the global community hear from them firsthand what are their challenges. And of course, the sub-team is Women in Media and Leadership, which it's amazing because these issues are so interconnected. If we don't have media, if we don't have conscious media, if we don't have women in media that they are dedicated to take these issues and educate people, our hands are tied. So I'm glad that, and I hope I'll see you in New York.
Yes, me too. And the story of these brave, courageous women who are really living these narratives, and to be able to cover those stories, to share their truth, because these women, as you have experienced, are very courageous and very brave in speaking their truth, speaking their stories. And so we need more conscious media and media coverage on these real stories so that we can take those steps towards social justice and bringing change to the people who need them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us about this network that you're chairing. How did you get involved? And if viewers are watching and they're interested in joining this network, what are the ways to connect with you?
Thank you. Well, the story goes to 1994. I was at Cal State Long Beach, locally, or the university in Long Beach, and I heard about the Global Women Conference. I was actually planning to go to Nairobi in 1985, but because of some family issues with one of my kids, last minute, I didn't go. As mothers, as professionals, and as an activist, I'm just I'm a previous generation to you, and I'm sure that many of us that we walk this path, we need to have a very clear prioritization in our mind. And for me, always, my family, when it comes to particularly serious issue, I'm willing to drop other things to attend to that. So I didn't went to Nairobi, and I waited 10 years, and I went with a group of women of color from Bay Area to Beijing. And then during this trip, the women of color from Bay Area, I got to know amazing women, Marilyn Fowler and other women that they were going from Bay Area. And in 1994, a year before the conference, they established Women's Intercultural Network, meaning that we need to learn from each other and build on each other's strength, women in different parts of the world. So I got engaged with them. I was a member. Then throughout the last more than 20 years, I was board member, I was chair. And then at some point we felt that other than reaching out to, for example, Native American women and farm worker women and women in marginalized community here, we need to reach out to women in other parts of the world. So we created a concept of circle. We call it circle because there is no power dynamic in it. In circle, as we have a tradition in our country, Iran, we sit around so nobody has more power than the other person. We sit in a circle. So we started with creating a circle with women from Uganda. A delegation from Women Intercultural Network went to Uganda, and then subsequently we invited 7 women from Uganda. That one of the women minister of Uganda was part of that delegation. And we provide them a tour from Northern California to San Diego. They sat in all women organization, Commission on Status of Women universities, and learned about the experience of women. Then we created another circle with women in Japan. We have a circle with women in Afghanistan that I was part of that delegation and went to, as a grassroots organization delegation, we went to Afghanistan. I went to Kabul 3 months after Taliban was ousted. And we sat with all the NGOs. My role as a mediator was to bring peace between women NGOs that they were active in Kabul, because there were an unhealthy competition between them for getting grants from global agency. So we were successful in that regard. We helped Afghan women to establish Women Studies program in University of Kabul, and then we invited some 7 women from Afghan community after a long process of selection to come to California. And here at our university, Cal State Fullerton, they spent a whole day. We had reception. They met child care center of our campus. They met women's centers. They learned about the services that we provide to women students. So this was one of their stuff. They met in San Diego and all the way from Northern to Southern California. They learned a lot and they went back. And then recently we established a circle with Iranian women. So I'm hopeful that we'll be able to build bridges and support Iranian women in their plight for dignity and human rights, and for the dignity that they well deserve. And their challenge, there are many challenges. As we all know, majority of higher education are women, but they don't have a chance to play a significant role in economy. There are many barriers. There are compulsory hijab, many other barriers, and so we are hopeful that with the notion of building peace and exchanging ideas and investing on each other's strength, we reach out to each other and we learn from each other.
That's wonderful. It is heartwarming when you have a group of women, especially moms, sitting at a circle or a round table, the peace table, and working on resolutions, working on negotiations, working on coming up with solutions that will cultivate peace in their communities. And I find that one of the most empowering, enriching experiences for our communities. And I have to say, the men in leadership, especially peace leadership, those who have recognized prioritizing children's rights and women's rights as sort of the upfront recipe or formula for bringing more happiness and freedom and social justice into our societies is always refreshing to be part of. The men who get it.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, absolutely. And you know, women and children, and particularly youths. I'm very hopeful that with women and men, that they are building the culture of peace in our community, in our broader community, in US, in globally. We be able to have peace leaders. We be able to have politicians that they put the interest of majority of people before anything else. And we need to listen. I deeply believe, and this is part of UN recommendation for younger people, peacemakers. I deeply believe, in even my experience, that we need to create a space for the youths to express their opinion and listen. We listen to them. We listen to them as equal, not with a power dynamic that, okay, I'm older than you, I know better. We need to listen, putting our ego aside and listening to the thoughts and innovations and creativity of younger people, and creating an environment for it, creating an environment, helping younger people at any age, from elementary school, middle school, high schools, even at university, to build skills for peace building. You know, peace building, like anything else, you need to have a set of skills for it. You need to know how to listen actively. You need to know how to dialogue. You need to know how to respect each other's belief and understand it before preparing our mind for responding to it. You know, these are set of skills that even at our campus, Cal State Fullerton, we have courses, not matriculated courses, but courses that a student can take to be engaged in community. So these are, and these are recommendation of UN even for youth in conflict zone. We need to buid trust between youth and constituency. You know, we need to build trust between youth and non-governmental organization. And even in some democracy where the society enjoys some level of democracy, we need to build trust between youth and civil society. You know, those are we need to encourage intergenerational dialogue on peace. You know, how beautiful it is that maybe even in our Iranian community or community at large, we have 4 generations of people from maybe middle school to college to different generations talking about peace and talking about building a culture of respect, dignity, and peace. So these are some of the recommendations of UN for building peace, whether we are talking about Orange County or Los Angeles, or whether we are talking about Congo and Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yes, and it's always surprising to me because when I started my peace learning sort of parenting curriculum or research it was like early 2000, one of the main contributors or pieces of, I guess, information, education I was integrating into the curriculum was the Declaration of Human Rights, and for like every principle to be well integrated into the educational system. And I would start with families with the question of, you know, do you know the human rights? Do you know the Declaration of Human Rights? And I would say 80 or a very high percentage, you know, close to, I would even stretch it to 90% of participants or families or the youth that I worked with did not know it. And so how detrimental is that for us to build and cultivate those basic principles, these declarations that were founded thousands of years ago by Cyrus the Great, you know, by our peace-loving, peace-learning leader of all people, And why is it important to talk about this today and to make sure that the youth and the children, and especially starting from elementary school, that these kids, you know, my kids are 10 and 8 now, and they're aware. They ask questions and they want to know what it means to have equity, what's the difference between equality and equity, and so forth. And so for them to know about freedom, what countries, you know, the people are lacking freedom and why. Well, how important is it to have those real conversations today, especially how we could integrate technology into teaching and cultivating peace with our next generation?
Absolutely, it's critical, and I think we are enjoying the level of technology that it's enabling and it's empowering us to reach out beyond borders. Mm-hmm. You know, whether we can sit, share a meal, a simple meal in our community, whether in Woodland Hills or Orange County or Long Beach, mm-hmm. and talk about peace and listen to each other, actively listen to each other, or we can have dialogue and forums across borders. I think these are all wonderful ideas, and it's critical. It's critical to have those dialogues. It's critical to have those conversations. I want to share a very inspiring case that I was engaged even in Los Angeles. 2 years ago, in Los Angeles, there was a project, you know, because of the conflicts between African American and police nationally in U.S. So there was an idea to have conversation between. This was initiated by a days of dialogue in Los Angeles that I occasionally kind of volunteer for them. So I facilitated a conversation between one white police officer in Inglewood, which is predominantly black, and 25 community members, all black people, various ages, men and women. Mm-hmm. And of course, I was facilitating this conversation to understand, to listen to both sides. And I'm not necessarily saying that this would change structurally the challenges that we have, but I'm talking about that 3 hours that we were sitting. Yes, we had lots of conflicts, lots of anger, lots of frustration at the beginning, but after that phase, then people listened to each other and they had an appreciation of each other's challenges. Mm-hmm. And it was such a inspiring 3 hours for me that for any conflicts, for any tension, when you bring the group together, you can facilitate that and you can teach people, you can prepare people to have a dialogue in a healthy environment. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. And I think these concepts, as you shared, can go globally with the use of technology. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Do you recommend any links besides youthforhumanrights.org that would be helpful for especially our youth, especially those who are in the field trying to cultivate peace? Are there any resources that you share and you recommend? And I know you're very generous on your social media with sharing material and resources, but for our viewers now, are there any resources that you would recommend?
I would be happy. I can send you some links for peace and peer mediation at the school level.
Wonderful.
There was a project in Orange County. I will send some resources, and hopefully you can share it with your audience. I would be happy to do it.
Great. That's very generous of you and always appreciated. You are truly, I have to say, I also appreciate when PeaceLearning leaders have internalized the sort of experience of peace learning living, which is always nice and blissful to see when you're in the presence of someone who is moving and cultivating peace like yourself. And I have been in your presence several times in which just organically, belly to belly, I have experienced so much peace and just happiness and calmness and hope. So it is an inside-out process, and it is a process in which I think as individuals we're responsible to cultivate from the inside out. As mothers, as parents, we're responsible to cultivate to then share with our children in a conscious living space and cultivating peace learning living. So thank you for bringing that into this world, and thank you for bringing so much awareness and consciousness and peace learning living into our communities.
Thank you very much. And I believe with the rich culture of Iranian culture, poetry, we need to do whatever we need to do in the world. We need to do it from the paradigm of love. We need to do service. We need to do contribution. We need to do community building, peace building from the paradigm of love. That is the only way, as Rumi said, that's the only way that our work will echo in a greater way in today's world.
Wonderful. So we're going to shift gears a little bit and change our dialogue and conversation to Farsi, if that's okay with you. We do have a Farsi-speaking or very large Farsi-speaking audience. So for those of you who are joining us, who are bilingual, we will continue this conversation on cultivating peace in our communities and what it means today, especially during this month where MLK's dream of social justice, equanimity, equality is realized once again in 2017 and 2018 and beyond. What it means to be a global citizen today, what it means to stand up for social justice, what it means for the Iran protests, what it means to be Iranian American. And so we'll carry on this conversation in Farsi language, and we hope you join us again next time on Mom Talk for those of you who are English speaking only. دوستان به برنامه مادر و کودک توجه میکنین. میهمان گرامی برنامه امروز من خانم الهه امانی هستند که ایشون در بسیاری از حمایت و جمع‌آوری آن دسته از افرادی که به خصوص زنانی که بیشتر آزادی خواه هستند، آزادی منش هستند، صلح منش هستند، در نهادینه کردن صلح در جوامع به اصطلاح گلوبال، در جوامع این دهکده جهانی ما فعالیت میکنن. ایشون در مقام رهبری و به اصطلاح پیشرو و پیشکسوت بسیاری از فعالیت‌هاشون رو جلو بردن. در این سالی که گذشت به یک کنفرانس صلح جهانی در اروپا به اصطلاح شرکت کردن که نتایج این کنفرانس رو یا تجربیاتشون رو در این کنفرانس رو با ما به اصطلاح مطرح خواهند کرد در این برنامه و سپس در رابطه با cultivation و یا نهادینه کردن صلح و حقوق بشر و حقوق کودکان و زنان گفتگوی خودمون رو با ایشون ادامه میدیم. خانم الهه امانی به برنامه مادر و کودک خوش آمدید.
با سلام خدمت شما و بینندگان عزیز برنامه شما.
خب دفعه قبل که با هم صحبت و گفتمان داشتیم شما از شهر پاریس با ما تماس می گرفتین و در راه کنفرانس جهانی صلح بودین. چه خبر از این کنفرانس و نتایجش و یا تجربیات خودتون رو با ما لطفاً شیر بکنین؟
خیلی ممنون. بله همونطور که شما اشاره کردید من در مسیر رفتن به پیک بودم، به لاهه بودم و در اونجا کنفرانس صلحی بود که Mediators Beyond Borders، میانجیگران بدون مرز مثل دکترهای بدون مرز و بدون مرزهای دیگه. یک گروهی هم هست میانجیگران بدون مرز که در واقع برای اشاعه فرهنگ صلح و دیالوگ و گفتگو در واقع فعالیت میکنه. من هم با این بدون مرزهای که صلحجو هستن و برای فرهنگ صلح فعالیت میکنن تقریبا از آغاز کار همکاری داشتم. 2017 دهمین سال این نتورک و شبکه میانجیگران بدون مرز بود. از این نظر به لاهه رفتیم و بسیار بسیار تجربه امیدبخشی بود وقتی که شما میبینید که زنان و مردانی در سنین مختلف از دو سوی تعارضات منطقه‌ای، تعارضاتی که چه در خاورمیانه چه در آفریقا و حتی آمریکای لاتین شرکت میکنن و میخوان در واقع پلی بسازن و راهکارهایی پیدا کنن برای حل این اختلافات، راهکارهایی که نه در سطح دولتی بلکه در سطح مردمیه. چون خیلی اوقات بله دولت‌ها درگیر جنگ با یکدیگر میشن و قدرت‌های بزرگ هم هر کدوم صف آرایی میکنن در دو سوی این تعارضات، ولی اون چه که ما کمتر به اون بها میدیم و باید بیشتر به اون سرمایه گذاری کنیم نقش شهروندانه و نقش توده های کثیری هستش که در دو سوی این تعارضات در واقع قربانیان این تعارضاتن. ما میدونیم در بسیاری از جنگ ها بیشترین تعداد کسانی که آسیب میبینن از جنگ ها نه تنها کشته بلکه به عنوان پناهجو، به عنوان کسانی که آوارگان محسوب میشن از سرزمین خودشون رانده میشن کودکان و زنان هستن. از این نظر به هر حال بحث‌های زیادی بود اونجا از به ویژه زنانی که در این تعارضات فعال هستن کار میکنن و میخوان بشینن با طرف مقابل صحبت کنن، راهکارهای پیدا کنن. خیلی جالب بود که حتی مثلا ما در یمن میبینیم که الان جنگه، ولی بدون اینکه ما اصلا تو میدیا از اون بشنویم، تو رسانه ها گروه‌هایی هستن در دو طرف این تعارضات از خود یمنی ها که دارن زنانی که میخوان در واقع یه راهکارهای پیدا کنن برای امنیت خودشون، محلشون، خانوادهشون و اینقدر داستانهای امیدبخشی هستش که در دو سوی این تعارض یا توی سوریه حتی خانواده ها و زن ها و کودکانی که در این جنگ ها هستن حتی به هم کمک میدن، یعنی خارج از فضای اون فضای ستیز و جنگ به هم یاری میرسونن. اینها داستان هایی که ما نمیشنویم و از این نظر به نظر من در بخش انگلیسی شما اشاره کردین، من میخوام اینجا دوباره تاکید کنم نقش انسان‌های آگاه و باورمند به مسئله صلح چقدر مهمه در رسانه‌ها، چون ما باید این چیزها رو در واقع برجسته کنیم. ما همیشه حتی در مطبوعات آمریکا میشنویم چقدر جنگه، چقدر نابسامانیه، چقدر خشونته، ولی کمتر میشنویم از کسانی که برای امنیت و صلح کارهایی میکنن. ما باید این توازن رو یک جوری توی رسانه ها به وجود بیاریم و از این نظر نقش کسانی مثل شما و سایر افرادی که در رسانه به این فرهنگ زمینه میدن و اون رو اشاره میدن خیلی مهم هستش.
خیلی متشکرم. خانم امانی، در این کنفرانس صلح جهانی از عزیزان ایرانی یا زنان ایرانی هم شرکت کرده بودند در رابطه با این تنش ها و به اصطلاح پروتست های ایران و یا حجاب، موضوع حجاب؟
متاسفانه نه، به خاطر اینکه خیلی اوقات حتی در کنفرانس های صلح چنانچه یک کشورهای حضور داشته باشن، مثلا در این کنفرانسی که در لاهه بود، ما هم از فعالین صلح اسرائیل داشتیم هم فلسطینی ها، ولی بعضی اوقات به صرف حضور فعال، حتی فعالین صلح اسرائیلی ما میبینیم برای کسانی که اگه بخوان از ایران شرکت کنن یه محدودیت ها و ریسکایی داره و این ملاحظات یه مقدار در واقع موانعی هستش که برای حضور برخی از فعالین و کنشگران صلح و عدالت ایرانی فراهم میاره.
حرف تکنولوژی زدیم و اینکه چجوری میتونه تکنولوژی کمک بکنه. شما خب دایرکتور تکنولوژی هستین در دانشگاه فولرتون. نقش تکنولوژی و اینکه این مرزها رو مرز شکنی بشه و یا این به اصطلاح بریرها، این معضل هایی که هستش اینو برداشته بشه و اینکه تکنولوژی بتونه کمک بکنه صدای مردم رو، صدای اون دسته عزیزانی که میخوان فعال باشن، میخوان حضور داشته باشن ولی به هر دلایلی نمیتونن، آزادی ندارن. نقش تکنولوژی چی هستش؟
بله، صداتون یکم بریده به من رسید، ولی اگر سوال شما رو درست متوجه شده باشم، تکنولوژی در واقع به نظر من بسیار اینیبلینگه، بسیار ابزارهایی در اختیار ما میذاره که ما بتونیم با در واقع فرای مرزها و جدایی‌ها و موانع و چالش‌ها بریم. همونطور که در تظاهرات اخیر ایران، تظاهرات خیابانی اخیر مردم ایران، مردم کشورمون ما دیدیم، نقش ایران یکی از کشورهای خاورمیانه هستش که میزان پنتریشن و نفوذ تکنولوژی و ابزارهای تکنولوژی یکی از بالاترینه در مقایسه با سایر کشورها و این یک فرصتی هست برای افرادی که میخوان ریچ اوت کنن، برسن و یک کارهای مثبتی انجام بدن. نقش رسانه‌های اجتماعی، سوشال میدیا به نظر من بسیار بسیار مهمه در اطلاع رسانی و من اینو الزاماً به عنوان این نمیگم که شما فرض کنید یک مؤسسه بزرگی داشته باشین، یک تجهیزاتی داشته باشین. حتی در بعد کوچیک، حتی اگر شما در واقع تبادل و دیالوگ و اطلاع رسانی بکنید با 10 نفر در ایران، با 15 نفر، از اونها واقعیات رو بشنویم و به اونها راهکارهایی، منابعی، ایده هایی، یعنی این تبادل و این کامیونیکیشن به نظر من بسیار بسیار اهمیت داره و درک من اینه که این تماس، این ارتباط نقاط مختلف دنیا، چه از آفریقا، چه ایران و چه سایر کشورها، چه حتی کشورهایی که بسیار محدودیت‌های اینترنتی وجود دارن، این یک در واقع یک اصطلاحی هست تو تکنولوژی، میگن چاره هر چالش تکنولوژی بیشتره و ما میدونیم اگر فیلتر باشه، فیلتر شکنی هست. اگر جای مانع ایجاد بشه، با یک تکنولوژی بالاتر اون به چالش کشیده میشه. از این نظر به نظر من بسیار بسیار نقش تکنولوژی در فرهنگ صلح، در ایجاد دادخواهی، در رسوندن صدای کسانی که در واقع برای عدالت، برای حقوق، برای کرامت انسانی مبارزه میکنن، چه در ایران و چه در کشورهای دیگه، بسیار بسیار مهمه.
بسیار عالی. از حضور شما در برنامه مامتاک بسیار بسیار استفاده کردیم، لذت بردم و تا برنامه دیگه با شما و بینندگان رو به خدا میسپاریم. خدا نگهدار و روز و روزگار خوش.
سپاس از شما.